Hey guys, it's your favorite Dalamadur here, and thank you all for your patience once again. This has been an interesting write about because I wanted to give Godzilla, Kong, and Dalamadur their three respective parts here, okay? Because again, I do feel like they deserve some attention, and I like to expand the lore of this variation of the Monsterverse here. So, with that being said here, Kong will have a three-part special. Godzilla will have a three-part special. Dalamadur will have a three-part special. And I'll even include a bonus kaiju that everyone loves dearly. Can you guess it in the comment section? And without further ado, let us begin. Our story continues where Kong actually met Sanda and Gaira. He's a bit taken aback by them. They look so different, but yet they're acting very close here. So, Kong pretty much approaches them in the fallen remnants of the temple here, where they both are picking up respective weapons that they hope can continue to, well, keep them alive so far. Kong actually gets a good look at them. They're roughed up, they're beaten, and they look damaged. And so, when Kong begins to communicate with them, Garia is the first to attack him here. However, Kong simply sidesteps and punches him towards the ground here. Not enough force to, try and damage him, but enough to get the point across that he's not trying to fight them. And so, Sanda, being the more reasonable of the two, gets his brother to stand down and that they're in no position to fight. So this is where Kong and Sanda actually begin talking while Garia is just simply sitting on the ground, mumbling that, well, he just kind of got bullied in a way. So, with that being said here, what did they talk about? Well, Sanda actually states that they've been on the run for quite some time here. Something or some type of monster's been hunting them, and it killed their mother, unfortunately. And so, as of right now, they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to really be. And so Kong, out of the kindness of his heart, and seeing that these guys are pretty similar to him, actually decides to befriend them. As a matter of fact, he actually helps them move the rubble a lot easier here and, well, gives them their respective weapons. Some talons from Death Runners here, and yes, I am going to include them in the verse here because I do think Death Runners are definitely terrifying, and plus, they would definitely fit in the Hollow Earth. Which the Death Runners would be like giant feathered velociraptors, but obviously with a more kaiju twist to it, if you guys get what I mean, or feathered Deinonychus, excuse me. And so this is where Garia would actually receive a club. Not sure what creature I would have this from, but just know it's some type of creature from the Hollow Earth. And so Kong grabs a sword, a very interesting looking sword here, and even grabs a skull shield here. And so he attaches them both to him here and reinforces it with the binds that he finds in the ruins here, so that not only is the skull simply attached to him here, but now the sword is pretty much connected to a point where it's not flopping around with its jaw. Yeah, I'm telling y'all gonna actually love how I depict Kong here. So, without being said here, Kong actually allows Sanda and Garia to not only stay with him, but he helps them heal up, showing them a rare plant that can actually heal their wounds, but they have to consume it. Kinda like the monsters from Evolve, where they actually eat a rare plant and it restores their health and regenerates them here. So Sanda and Garia get to munching, but they only need around 2 plants here to actually fully restore their health here. And so they actually find themselves in a cave here. But this would actually be after they hunt down and actually, outsmart a group of wart dogs here. This would actually show that not only Sanda and Garia are smart, but they're actually battle hardened. Not as battle hardened as Kong here, but enough to know how to keep themselves alive here. And so during this hunt, they show their camaraderie with Kong, willing to follow, willing to listen to him here. And so this kind of forms their dynamic as they become a family. So, with that being said here, they find themselves away to a cave and they actually eat the wart dogs that they caught, their respective ones, mind you. So, with that being said, what do they talk about in their Titan language, right? Well, Kong wants to know the very description of this creature that they were hunting him. To which they pretty much give a good description. It's big, it has long arms, it was sturdy, tough, indestructible here. And it had some sort of horn on top of it here. They don't know where it came from, but it appears often, hunting down a lot of the creatures that were from their territory. To which they give a description of a few of them: warbats, spine crawlers, and, well, even skull crawlers. To which Kong is somewhat intrigued by this here, but not too fazed by it. And so he wonders, where would this Titan hunter or this hunter be, right? And so they say that it's likely in the more, oasis depths of the Hollow Earth here. To which Kong looks at them a bit curious. An oasis. To which Sanda and Gaira pretty much go and look at him like, yeah, it's where we're from. It's where we were born and raised by our mother as the last of our kind here. To which Kong understands and does sense that little bit of, loss with him here, as he feels like he's also the last of his kind here. So, with that being said, the very next morning, Kong decides to set out on his own to see if he can find and confront this Titan hunter. However, we would also have to pick up with another pair of kaiju, this being Gorosaurus and Baragon. These two are running for their lives frantically here, and they both are looking around in the deep darkness of the jungle or the area that they're in here, or I would probably say a lowland type of jungle here. And well, they are now being barraged by missiles here. Gorosaurus manages to leap out of the way while Baragon digs underground here. So the two of them are now engaging against the Titan Hunter. Now, the Titan Hunter in this timeline would actually be a bit more sturdier. It would actually be a bit better here. And you might say, legendary, why is that? With the arrival of, or the emergence of Dalamadur, a lot of people are funding ways for humanity to get rid of the Titans. Keep in mind, like I said earlier, Mechagodzilla was approved by the public. Sorry, not like I said earlier in the last part. Mechagodzilla was actually more approved by the public here and given the best upgrades by both Monarch and Apex together here. So, with that being said here, after the failure of Mechagodzilla, a lot of people would try to replicate the events, or at least replicate the, the success is what I'm trying to say here, of Mechagodzilla here. And so the Titan Hunter would actually be a somewhat decent prototype here. I would say it's on the same technological scale as the Jaegers, but a little less advanced, if you know what I mean. But the benefit is it only needs one pilot. So, yeah, it's not too bad, but it's not perfect, if you guys get what I mean here. And so, with that being said here, how do they escape here? How do they run about here? Well, Baragon regroups with Gorosaurus as the two have just gotten, out of the way of a couple Titan hunting missiles here. And to which the Titan Hunter emerges, and Raymond Martin, a man that lost everything in the events of 2014, his parents, wife, and unfortunately, his son. So, how would that honestly go from here? Well, he hates them. A deep-seated hatred for all Titans here. Kind of racist if you ask me, but hey, that's besides the point here. He makes a very good villain for this story. And so, this is where he unleashes hell upon both of them here. And so Gorosaurus is able to not only escape, but Baragon is also able to escape as well here. The way they escape is actually kind of smart here. They actually keep running until they find a decent point to where they can set up their own little trap here. And so with that being said here, Baragon tunnels underground here while Gorosaurus actually distracts the Titan Hunter in a physical confrontation here. He uses his kangaroo kick, his jaws, and his tail to trip up the Titan Hunter here. And so the Titan Hunter then gets the upper hand by grabbing Gorosaurus by his throat, kneeing him in the gut, and then using his free hand to sock him in his jaw with a hook punch. And so this is where everything kind of happens. Gorosaurus looks up and smiles at the Titan Hunter, or smiles at Raymond here. And Raymond looks at him and states, "What's going on? Wait a minute, where's the other one? However, before he can answer that, the ground beneath him caves in, and so he falls through, with Baragon and Gorosaurus looking at the hole with a cheeky smile. However, their troubles are not done just yet here, as someone else appears at the scene, that being Kong. He heard the missiles and heard the destruction, and decided to see what was going on for himself here. Baragon and Gorosaurus are injured. They're tired and bruised here. And so, when Kong pretty much lifts up and puts down his blade for a minute here, they do not try to fight. Instead, they bow, hoping that he would at least show them mercy. Into which Kong is a bit taken aback by this here. Monsters willing to bow to him because he is an alpha titan here, and they can sense that. So, with that being said, Kong obviously would show them mercy, but simply wants to know what's going on. And so Gorosaurus and Baragon both gesture towards the hole. However, when Kong looks down it, they don't even see the Titan Hunter. He's not in there. But unfortunately, or fortunately enough here, they do have some room to breathe. And so, with that being said here, Kong actually invites Gorosaurus and Baragon to come with him. So the two make their way towards Kong's more healing area, or the same area where he has healing plants here, and tells them to eat. While they are a bit repulsed by this because they are carnivores, he does have them eat here. However, this is where this is caught by Sanda and Gaira, and they both are taken aback by other kaiju being here other than them here, to which they begin to yell at Kong, telling him that this was supposed to be their spot, their area. And this is where Kong simply explains that these guys were hunted just the same as they were, so don't they deserve a little sympathy, or at least a little compassion? Plus, they bow to him, and so he has a duty to actually, help them here, considering that is his nature. And so, while they don't like it at first here, both Sanda and Gaira both do reluctantly bow or, yield to Kong here. And honestly, I think they would actually get along with the group here. So, with that being said here, this is their own little family, their own little team at the moment here. However, where is Raymond? Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. He's back home. Not back at home. He's back at his Hollow Earth base. Yes, this is a Hollow Earth base here. And so we would see him working with Jonah, the same guy from Godzilla King of the Monsters, who ran the terrorist or the eco-terrorist organization. But this organization would be later dubbed the Hyenas in Kong's Survival Instinct. So we're having them appear earlier. And so this is where Jonah actually exits the Titan Hunter. Raymond exits the Titan Hunter here. And Raymond exits the Titan Hunter, and Jonah asks him what happened. To which he says he was outsmarted by those things. These darn creatures were very capable, mind you. To which this is where Jonah asks him, what were the subjects? To which he says, Titanus Baragon and Titanus Gorosaurus. To which he says, those two. Of course, those two would be the ones to outsmart you. Not surprising, honestly. To which this is where Raymond pretty much grits his teeth and simply tells Jonah to watch it. And to which Jonah says, what are you going to do, huh? You're going to threaten me in my own establishment, to where I hold all the power? I could have the guards execute you in a heartbeat if I wanted to. You're my attack dog, remember? Or did you forget that it was you who came to me seeking vengeance against every Titan? You'll do as I say, or otherwise I will shut down the Titan Hunter and fire you. And so Raymond, understanding what this really means in turn here, reluctantly accepts here. And so the next task for him is very simple here. They need a couple kaiju components here. And so Raymond dons the Beast Hunter, or the Titan Hunter, once again, and actually leaves the facility. So where does Raymond go? What is he hunting? Well, he's actually making his way towards the Temple of the Kongs. And what they actually need is pretty simple. the Hollow Earth energy. Because seeing that is still a focal point here, Raymond's actually able to extract at least a decent amount here that he thinks would be able to satisfy Jonah's I guess you could say thirst for it, you know? And so, with that being said here, Raymond actually heads back. However, before he does, he actually notices something. Footprints. And actually notices that they're from Sanda and Gaira. And he smiles with great joy and decides to track them down, stating to Jonah that he'll actually be a little while. He's found a worthwhile subject or subjects that he needs to settle a score against here. To which Jonah tells him don't do it, otherwise he'll override the programming. And to which this is where Raymond simply states to the old man that he never had control to begin with. If you want this Hollow Earth energy and you want it back safely, then you'll allow him to do this. To which Jonah, understanding that he does need a Hollow Earth energy, reluctantly does accept here. So with that being said here, yeah, Jonah actually has no other choice but to actually obey or pretty much comply with the demands set by his begrudging employee here. So with that being said here, what happens after that? Well, Raymond tracks down the footprints and tracks it down to the lowland jungles here, and he continues tracking it down here. And so when he does, he actually hears grunts, roars, and the sound of splashing here. And so when he peers through this tree line here, he actually sees them: Kong, Gorosaurus, Baragon, Sanda, and Gaira, all playing in this swamp-like pool here, as if they have not a care in the world. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys for the Kong special, or part 2 to the Kong special. Peace.